What's up everyone? Today we're going to look at the cosine rule. Yesterday we talked about the sine rule, today is the cosine rule. By the end of this video you'll understand what the cosine rule is and how to apply the cosine rule to find both sides and angles. So, this is the pattern to find the side of a cosine rule. You got two sides and an angle. You can't use the sine rule. So we're going to use the cosine rule. Again, just like last time, we want to label our sides. So this is going to be A, this is A, and then B and C, it doesn't matter. If we label this one B, then this one's B, and if we label this one C, then this one's also C. Sure. The cosine rule reads as follows. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2bc cos A. Write that down. That is your cosine rule. So, let's learn how to properly use it. We know that A is opposite our side. Yeah? So, A squared, in this case x squared, is going to be equal to, remember how I said B and C don't matter? They don't matter. So we can say 8.4 squared plus 4.7 squared. It doesn't matter because both of them are positive. Minus 2 times 4.7 times 8.4 cos 66. So when we plug that into our calculator, we should get what x squared is equal to. X squared I get as 60.53. Okay? If you didn't get that, remember these are multiplied. You can do that if you want to. And so therefore x is simply going to be equal to the square root of 60.53. Which is equal to 7.78 centimeters. Okay? Let's look at another example. Again, we've got two sides, an unknown, and an angle. That's cosine rule. So let's label. We've got A and A. And B and C don't matter. So x squared is going to be equal to 22.7 squared plus 21.8 squared minus 2 times 21.8 times 22.7 cos 113. Plug that into your calculator. I get an answer of 1377.2444. And so therefore x is just going to be the square root of that, which is just going to be equal to 37.11 centimeters. So that is how you do it with lengths. However, what if we're asked to work out the angle? In this case, we're going to have to make cos A the subject. So if this is cos A, this is our A. And again, B and C do not really matter. As long as they're either side of the angle, who cares? We know that A squared is equal to, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself a bit. A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2bc cos A. So we want to make cos A the subject. That is the end goal. So the first thing we need to do is we need to put everything else on one side. So let's put that on the other side. So then A squared minus B squared minus C squared is equal to minus 2bc cos A. And then finally, to make cos A the subject, we have to divide by minus 2bc. When we do that, we flip the signs of all of these. So then cos A is equal to b squared plus c squared minus a squared all over 2bc. Okay? And that is how we find out what the angle is. Write that down if you want to remember it, or if you want to, learn one of these two and then you can derive the other one. Either way. So let's learn how to properly use this formula. Cos x is equal to 15.1 squared plus 13.6 squared minus, because remember, this 18.7 is opposite the x, so that's going to be the minus. Okay? All divided by 2 times 15.1 times 13.6. And then when we put that into our calculator, we get an answer of 791 divided by 5134. So then let's find the inverse. X is just going to be the inverse cos. Remember when we did SOHCAHTOA? That's all we're doing. The 5134. And so what we're left with is an answer of 81.14 degrees. And that's all there is to it. What about if it's an obtuse angle? I have good news for you. If it's an obtuse angle, yesterday when I did the sine rule, I was told that we need to do 180 minus answer. We don't need to do that for the cosine rule, only when it's sine. Let's work out how to find x though. So cos x, if this is our a, then this is going to be lowercase a, is just going to be equal to 5.9 squared plus 10.1 squared minus 14.5 squared, all divided by 2 times 5.9 times 10.1. Okay? So when we plug that into our calculator, we should get an answer of minus 7,343 over 11918. So the only thing that changes when it's obtuse is this should be negative. That's all that changes. Because if we plug it in, when we plug that in to find x, so x is equal to the inverse cos of minus 7343 over 11918, we should get an answer of 128.03 degrees. It's already in an obtuse angle. And that's all there is to it. It's exactly the same no matter the size of the angle. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video made sense. If you guys liked it, consider subscribing. Helps out the channel a lot. If you guys have any further questions or comments, join my Discord server. And you can throw them at me all you want. If you guys need some extra one-to-one tutoring, drop me an email and we can organize a meeting and a quote. Keep on learning, as you have no idea what you're capable of doing.